how's it going, friends? My name's
Just kidding, my name is actually Calvin, and in this video I'll be explaining how YouTubers are affecting the gendered body. The first thing I wanted to talk about today is YouTube itself. What is this thing we're all uploading to for our midterms? And what is the significance about it? Basically, YouTube is one of the world's largest video sharing websites. And the company is actually owned by Google, and it pays its YouTubers basically a certain amount based off their website traffic. And the more people that come to your videos, the more money you make. But for in this case, I wanted to focus more on the beauty and fashion YouTubers. I forgot to mention how it's related to the gendered body found in Unit 1 of the first week of this course. Okay, so let's take a little backtrack and kind of explain what the gendered body is. So in the first week, we learned that the gendered body was something that society develops and will continue to develop over time. So basically, 10 years ago, gendered bodies were completely different. 20 years ago, completely different. 30 years ago, of course, completely different. In other terms, society sets these expectations for each gender. That means that, boys are supposed to play with action figures. They're supposed to wear jeans, t-shirts, while women and girls, on the other hand, will have to or are expected to wear dresses and like things that are pink and glittery and all that stuff. They're also expected to play with like dolls and do cooking chores around the house and kind of pretty much enjoy that stuff. It's basically pertains to all characteristics of the actual person. Um, their likes, dislikes, everything in between. So how do YouTubers basically affect the gendered body, and what kind of influence does it have? Basically, I've personally noticed more and more children, girls to be more specific, watching YouTubers on makeup tutorials, DIY tutorials, stuff like that. Many of these YouTubers are female, and their targeted audiences are inexperienced females that are trying to learn how to use certain makeup products, actually applying makeup for the first time, and in cases of DIY, how to make little crafty things around the house. And a lot of these YouTubers are paid by, or actually sponsored by, companies such as Mac and Sephora and stuff like that to basically advertise for their company through these YouTube videos. And that's one way they make money. And basically, how does this affect the gendered body? So it is reinforcing beauty standards of the female body in these young women and basically little girls. And that's about it. So next I wanted to give an example of one of these YouTubers that are basically using makeup tutorials and DIY tutorials targeted towards these young adult females, and basically reinforcing the gendered body stereotypes. This this channel right here is actually called Glitter Forever. 17. Um, I'm not actually sure what her name is, but I believe she is 28. We'll be entering her channel here. And we can see there's a bunch of DIYs, and one of the first things you see is, period hacks for young girls that don't really know what to do. But it's reinforcing, fashion styles of showing your stomach as a girl, and it's okay. You can see it in her backgrounds. It's very colorful and um, you know girlish, kind of in quotation marks there. Um, we can also see some other locker room hacks, phone hacks, all that good stuff. As a teenager and a young girl, you might not know these things, and she's one of those YouTubers that has exploited this. Not in a bad way, of course, but it's definitely um, something that is influencing these girls to be more girly, and of course, they're friends of these girls that are watching this YouTuber is going to be, spreading her message of being girly and how it's fun to be girly and all that stuff. Okay, so let's take it back to some of our reading material we had in week 1. One of my favorites was Becoming a Gendered Body, Practices of Preschool by Karen A. Martin. She basically did a study around preschools. She followed children of both genders and how they were basically influenced into these gendered roles, or embracing their gendered body. Um, so these boys would be playing with bricks, cars, and these types of things, while the girls would be playing with arts and crafts um, and be playing with dolls and houses and stuff. So basically, she was trying to explain how um, we as humans learn our gendered roles and our gendered body standards at a very young age. Um, we learn this from basically day one. Um, our, our cribs were blue, and the baby rooms were blue if you were a boy, and pink if you were a girl. Um, your parents put a bow in your hair if you were a girl. Um, you learn these things at a very young age, and for a YouTuber to be, you know, influencing these kids at such a young age, it reinforces these gendered body type roles, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it does influence them to uh, embrace these gendered body roles. So, what is my final opinion about YouTubers and their effects on gendered bodies? Well, yes, they will have some effect on young girls, young boys, on how they will embrace the gendered body. Um, but we only saw examples of, well, I only showed examples of a girl showing girly things to young girls or aimed towards young girls. Um, but there are boys out there that are um, heavy into fashion that are YouTubers. There are girls in there that are heavy into gaming, which is typically a boy type subject. Um, you can see examples of that on gaming streams. You can see examples of that on many other YouTube channels. But these are just a few of the things that I wanted to bring up in this first video, and I hope you enjoy, and like and subscribe if you would like to, and grow fist.